That's exactly where you go.
Yeah.
By raising your vibration, filling your body with oxygen, descending into the heart space,
And getting out of your mind.
and then you just. The idea is that your higher self is there anyway, with all the knowledge and all the love and knowledge and benevolence and empathy and understanding and forgiveness in the universe, all the power of the one.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is dipping in and reaching in and getting what you need out of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But between an hour's breath work and that, which is the extreme, there are realms, slices of reality going further and further and further towards this place that is the consciousness of everything that's ever lived, the one. Yeah. From the first 2 hours of breathing, I just went, this is it. This is all I'm going to do from now on, and I'm going to help as many people as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's where I am now.
So today we welcome you back onto another episode of the 108 Flow podcast. Today we have Darren on, and he's the founder of Breath of Transformation. Had a very musical career. I even had a spot in acting.
Very brief.
So how did you become engaged like in the spiritual world? Was it through your missus, or was it through you, or through music?
It's been a really long, slow progression. Really, Deb's, as you know, has been a medium for all her life. She said she thought she were mad as a kid.
Yeah,
you know, and tried to sort of disavow it and get away from it. But of course, it's a gift that she's had. It's a really powerful one. So she's had to sort of accept it and work with it. And so she's been like that all the time.
Yeah,
I were absolutely mad about paranormal stuff, UFOs and all sorts as a kid.
Yeah.
And sort of slowly we met sort of eventually at some sort of mutual understanding of what we're into, and as you know, there is a wave of awakening with people, and I think that anybody that's got a heart and ears is hearing the calling.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you know, having to work through my own healing, which I didn't. We literally
don't want to do.
Literally just before we started recording, we were talking about, this overinflated ego and stuff, and that realization that that's only there to protect you from damage. And where's that damage come from? It's come from childhood, and so, you know, I only realised in my early 40s just how damaged I'd been as a kid, you know. So, like, my dad were a paranoid schizophrenic, and you go through your life just sort of going, well, that's my childhood. Everyone has that sort of thing, but then as you get older, you look back and you go, not everyone will come home from school at 8 and your dad's leant out a bedroom window with a sheet on him, preaching his second coming. You know what I mean?
No, I can't say I did.
No, some fucking mad shit, mate. Just some mad shit, and it all just gets packed away.
Well, it becomes the normal, doesn't it? It's your new normal.
Yeah.
It's like there was stuff that had happened in my house where people were like, it didn't happen. I'm like, it did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, far more than I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But it becomes normal because that's what you have to climatise to.
Yeah.
Of what's there.
Yeah, and so I think regardless of what it is in your life, you either just pack it away as like, well, that was just my childhood, or it can be that traumatic that your brain just goes, that didn't happen. And that was some of the case with me. So you get to your mid-40s, started on I've been getting mangled all my life, and not realised, as well, that's just lads, innit? And I had a memory a while back that I was brewing my own beer when I was 14 years old. Barrels and
dedicated to it.
Like at 16, I had barrels of beer in my bedroom, all in different stages of brewing. I had optics on my wall, and you just think, oh yeah, that. Fucking hell, what are you doing? And then, but you just like, oh, it's just what, lads. And then you track it through. So it went from alcoholism till I was 21. I met Debbie. She's like, that's not happening. I've seen this before, and if you either get your stuff back in your boxes and clear off, or we can pour all that down the sink. So I'm getting ultimatum at 21.
Wow.
And so, fuck, right, okay, so that was one. And then smoking weed from 17, which were pretty much all right for a while, but at that time, just as I was getting to my late teens, my early 20s, I were around people who, well, one person in particular who ended up going to Amsterdam to cross-pollinate strains. In Dam, he were a wizard, but it was the start of the super strength skunk and that. So, and I think, quite honestly, I've been in low-level psychosis since probably my early 20s until I stopped smoking that and actively went out and found the old school, the hash and the Thai stick and stuff. I mean, still self-medicating constantly. Until again that point in my early 40s when I found, I rediscovered mushrooms, and they were telling me a lot of things. They were telling me about, I use this analogy like an archaeologist. So every weekend I'm taking mushrooms thinking I'm having a good, well, I was having a good time, to be fair, but they're going, every 10 minutes out of each trip, they just go, look at that. And I'll go, there's no there. Right, go play it. Next week, I'll just brush some sand off it. All right, off you go. Next week, bit more sand, until eventually all this stuff's laid bare in front of you. But it's done it so gently that you can see everything. I've been hiding through substance abuse, whatever it's been. I mean, it wasn't opiates, or crack, but it was. It's hiding from yourself. It's hiding from yourself. Yeah, exactly. So, so all this time, and then just having heavyweight realizations every weekend, or the more serious stuff is slowly just washing over years, space of years sometimes. And so eventually it'd give you solutions, which incidentally, viewers, is just unconditional love's the answer to every question. For yourself and for other people. And so, eventually I was at a stage where I thought, right, okay, this works. There's got to be other people around that are in a position that I was, and there is. it's almost everybody. So
only a few that mate.
yeah. So me and Debs have, found ways of holding space for people, helping people through stuff, and I feel like this is me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Just putting yourself in service to other people, and that's it. That's it in a very large and long nutshell.
It's putting other people in front of yourself, isn't it? It's like
no.
Think?
That's the thing. It's easy to put people in front of yourself.
No, I mean, yeah. Sorry, I meant it from the other way. Like, get yourself to a position where you're all right, and then start helping people get out of their discomfort.
Yeah, nobody's ever 100% right.
No.
So the way I see it is you get yourself over the first few had to get over hurdles.
Yeah.
And then while you're slowly getting over the hurdles that get lower and lower, you're helping other people over the hard to get over difficult hurdles.
Sharing your experiences with other people.
Yeah, and you all come along together, I think.
That's the beautiful part, is like when you're helping them, they then will tell you about something and it'll chime that you've gone through, and you'll start to start to help each other.
Yeah.
Whereas you might essentially been helping them in first place, and then they returning the favour, even they don't even know they're doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's circulating around that bond of love, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the only way. Love and forgiveness, understanding. It almost sounds like a cliche saying it, but it's just the truth.
It is the truth.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so this is how we're going forward,
Yeah.
And the more you do it, it's like when you have conversations with people, and the world being as it is, I often hear, well, what can we do? What can one person do to sort of stop all that? Well, you are stopping it, but if you love yourself and you love the people around you, in whatever form that takes, then that can spread exponentially.
Yeah. It's the little thing. It's like be the change that you want to see in the world as well. It's like, I know I've said it before, but little things like pick the litter up, doing bits like that. Like seeing everyone, even the homeless person, see them as, if you've got judgment and you're thinking they're lesser than you, picture them as a family member. Or
a baby.
Yeah, or a baby, or whatever it needs to realise that divided we fall, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Together, if we realise that we can just start helping and sprinkling a bit of kindness on the world, we're going to get a lot better.
Yeah, and in whatever capacity you can as well.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to be, spiritual leaders or leaders at all. It's none of that's important.
No.
Those that can lead and are comfortable being looked up to and followed, then great.
Yeah.
Those that can reach out and touch somebody else, then that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
And it can be as simple as just smiling at people.
It's how you turn up in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like to see it sometimes. It's like an orchestra. Everyone's got the part to play. It doesn't matter who's doing what, as long as you're doing it well.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. Absolutely. If you're a triangle player,
I love the triangle. Very simple.
Yeah, just you said I've been a musician for a long time. I once talking to a guy, and he went. I said, "What do you do?" He says, "Oh, I play." Because I used to for a short time I used to teach batucada, the Brazilian samba, samba stuff, and I went to do a bit of training, and we met this kid, and he said, "Oh yeah," I played. I said, "What's your favourite sort of percussion instrument?" I said, "Oh, I love playing triangle." And I sort of went, "All right." And he went, "Never heard anyone play triangle, have you?" And I'm like, "Right." And he went, No. He says, "Watch." And he's got like this 3-finger muting techniques going. You're like, all right, anything can be played brilliantly as well. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I'll change my perception forever on triangle playing.
Do you miss them playing music, or do you still play a lot?
I've gone back to producing music.
Have you?
When I said I'd stopped performing, that had a lot to do with how I'm changing and stuff, and how I see myself, and it just, I don't know. Maybe half of it was because I'd seen the repetition. I've done a lot of good things.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things that I can be proud of, but anything, I just saw it as anything that happens after this. It's just all repetition.
Yeah.
I mean, I played like at a lot of major festivals.
Yeah.
Multiple times. I've played in States, I've played across Europe. Not at a particularly high level, but
still done it.
But it's like, and it's like, well, what's new? And I just decided that I'm quite happy with what I've done.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed it. But you know, I think I just needed to put that down to try and deal with how I saw myself as well. So, but somewhere in the background, I'd sort of gone, right, I'm not even making music anymore now.
Do you think you were trying to dissolve a part of you completely?
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of us have been trying to do that, but then realising you can still integrate.
You're still you.
You can still integrate them things that you liked. You just didn't. You wanted to take the bad habits that were attached to that.
Well, there's still a reason that you've done what you've done.
Yeah.
And we just briefly were talking about past lives before this, and it definitely comes through all that. I mean, I were doing a violin session yesterday, Friday for a mate of mine.
Yeah.
And I've not picked my violin up in 18 months. And I had such a joyful day on Friday in vocal booth with my headphones on, listening to this beautiful music that he'd made.
Yeah.
You know, sort of saying, you know, I've sort of penciled these lines in for you, and you know, play them. But if you want to leave from there, and just had such a good day playing, and then I realised I thought these strings are quite a long way away from fingerboard on this violin. You know, just because it's been such a long time since I played.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, neck's collapsed, and fingerboards on table at violin, and strings are like. I thought it's a bit difficult to play today. And just looked at it. I thought, all right, so I bought myself a new violin yesterday, and I say an old, a really old new one. And I've just realised how good playing music and making music, producing music makes me feel. So that's all come back into it. I saw a video a couple of weeks ago about it might have even been that Know Yourself. It were on some podcast, and somebody said, you know, we talk about this fight between good and evil, this ethereal battle that's going on, and somebody just sort of flippantly said, and you know, if you're a creative, if you're a musician or a painter then that's a lethal weapon in this fight, and I never considered that. And I thought, oh, you're right, okay, yeah, all right. So, I mean, I've still been making bits of stuff. I made that piece of music that we do the breath work to, and I thought, oh, well, that's a useful use of still being able to produce music. And I've actually made some very specific audio packs for aligning chakras and stuff. I've done all the solfeggio tones. My wife's working on a manifesting talk, and I've done a pack illustrating in an audio fashion how the Earth Star chakra and the Soul Star chakra work.
Yeah.
Have you heard that one? We call it the billionaire's chakra.
All right, no.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It's in a lot of the esoteric teachings. But I've made a pack that helps you visualize how these two chakras turn and how you then incorporate
like a Taurus field.
Yeah. So I've been doing bits, but then I've just gone, oh, do you know what? I've not made any jungle for a while.
Yeah.
So I just spent I spent a couple of days last week. I had a rare week off last week, and just put a jungle tune together, and it's not like all the stuff that I used to make, because I'm not making it for DJing anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
You're making it for yourself.
I'm not doing it to, like, hype the dance up. It's quite ethereal, and you could just close your eyes with some headphones onto it. So
Quality.
I'm loving making music again.
I think that's where the internal battle is between good and evil. It is getting in that. I think I was listening to a YouTube video over there, and they were on about Jesus when they were saying in Bible, you cast your net out to the right. It's saying cast your net out to the right hemisphere.
That's exactly what I wanted.
That's where the creative mind is.
Where did you hear that?
It was he's a brilliant speaker. I just forget his name.
Bill Donahue.
Is that he's from? It sounds like he's from Bronx.
Yes.
Like New Yorker.
Mate, I'm glad you found it. Oh, I've
been watching some of his teachings, and I'm like, I couldn't sleep the other night. And I watching it, and I'm like, there was so much just chiming. And I'm like,
it feels like he's speaking directly to you, doesn't he?
He's just simplifying what he was saying, like he's breaking down the allegories.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I haven't personally picked up. I think that's what Holy Spirit leads me to. Is it leads me to these videos because I take it in more. When I'm reading it, it doesn't. I find it hard to transmute it.
It's always been a fascination. The Bible has always been a fascination to me.
Yeah, I think all teachings are great. It's just how they're brought to you, and it's like
because it were a core sort of thing in my upbringing, regardless of whether I wanted it or not. That's another story, but not through my parents at all, but just the village that we lived in, the community. It was like right, but it never made any sense to me, and right up until I discovered these videos, it's never made any sense, but it's always been at the back there going, what's that mean? What is all this? And then I think is the president of the Catholic League of America or something, I think it's called.
You're right.
But the way that he says, our people don't understand what they're doing. They're kneeling down, they're standing up, they're praying, and they've no idea why they're doing it or what they're doing it for. It's fascinating to the point where I've just bought a notebook, and I've decided that I'm going to go through not all those videos, because a lot of them, it's as fascinating as they are not the particular stuff that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
But all that stuff about numerology seems to be quite important in it. The 7s, the 12s, 9, and now they're mentioned over and over and over again in the Bible. The way that he talks about sitting at God's right hand. I'm not a very good relayer of information.
No, I found it fascinating. I was listening to Brian Scott, and he does a lot of meditations, and the brilliant shifts a lot of stuff. But they said before you're doing your meditations, start to do like the 5 rives, or like the different movements that you can do, the heart opening, do these movements, and also like start to, and it's peculiar ways of doing it, but you get your right elbow and go down to your left knee and get them to touch, because you're merging it all. You're merging them. It's because it's ways that you haven't moved before. So they even say when you go brush your teeth, start using your left hand. And then also saying affirmations within that, because it's going into your brain, because you're breaking the pattern of everyday life. Yeah,
is that in breath work? It's the alternate nostril breathing as well.
Yeah,
because They say that you're activating your sympathetic and your parasympathetic sides of your.
We're not technical, are we? We know what we're on about. It's me as well. I'm glad you said that.
Listen, it's years of ecstasy use, mate. Don't get me wrong. I had a great time, but my short-term memory. Your nervous system.
Yeah.
So every 20 minutes,
You're trying to reprogram it, yeah?
Yeah, every 20 minutes, your nostrils change sides, and it excites one side or the other. But to alternate the breath through your nostrils,
Yeah.
is designed to
doing kung fu.
designed to align your nerve, to balance your nervous system. So that.
No, I totally get it. And you are trying to get a new habits in there, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that's where. But there's so much in breath work. And what led you to doing the breath work?
Well, I told you that I'd gone down a very long psychedelic journey, originally designed to just subconsciously carry on this, this life of hiding behind shit. But you can't do that with mushrooms. So mushrooms has gone, oh, hang on a minute. Here you go. So then, 8 years of that and a lot of, deep transmuting of trauma and basically waking me up to the sort of the person that I've been all my life, and it just wasn't good enough. It just wasn't good enough. So,
is there any really standout moments that you'd like to share? I understand if you don't. Some of it is very personal.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of it, mate, and a lot of it I'm still working through.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
I'm still working through a lot of that. But after 8 years of weekly mushroom use, we came to a conclusion where it just sort of said, look, we're done now. Go out and, help other people.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay. And then 3 weeks later, my mentor, who I describe as my mentor, he probably doesn't even know he is it. The ever powerful Tony Mascari in Stockport decided he would teaching is spreading his knowledge and teaching breathwork. So I saw that 3 weeks later after the mushrooms had told me we're done.
The synchronicity.
Yeah, and it's like, right, this is it. And from the first 2 hours of breathing, I just went, this is it. This is all I'm gonna do from now on, and I'm gonna help as many people as I possibly can.
Yeah, and
that's where I am now.
I've got a great idea. I'll speak to you off air. It's been dropping in as you've been talking. Yeah, definitely. All
right, yeah. All for good ideas.
No, cool. And what kind of people do you see come into your breathworks?
Everyone, all walks of life. The oldest person I've had, I think, well into the 70s.
Yeah.
And the youngest, probably 17.
Wow.
Everyone gets something out of it.
Yeah.
If you'll know it's all about how committed you are to it.
Yeah.
The more you breathe, the deeper you go. Some people have changed their lives fundamentally in 8, 9, 10 sessions.
Yeah.
Which were funny because Tony sort of, as a throwaway statement, as I'd finished my 2-month initiation, pretty much just says, yeah, you can tell people you can change their life in 10 sessions. And I thought, I'm not gonna say that. And here I am 18 months later, having seen at least 2 people completely changed their lives in less than that. You know, it's the most powerful modality to me.
Yeah.
We
haven't got to pay any money for it. It's just your time and attention,
free.
in it. Yeah.
It's free, and the place you go. See, I'm constantly trying to link these. It's like I had a near-death experience in 2008, and the way I see it is, it's all the same thing. Now, you know what it's like when we talk about these things, that words aren't really adequate. But the way I see it is, death's the thing in the middle, the source of all things.
Yeah.
So the long, dark tunnel, the light at the end is small infinity. It's the smallest thing we go inward.
Yeah.
So if you imagine a massive glowing ball, the centre of it with the white light is, I remember thinking, I've gone too far, this is heaven. And heard, this is the consciousness of everything that's ever lived. That's the centre of this ball.
Yeah.
If you take some psychedelics, let's say you take a gram of mushrooms, that takes you to the outside of this ball, and you get to wipe the mist off the glass and have a little peer in.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when we're dreaming. Maybe we just get through that glass and we're just floating around in there.
Yeah.
Everything from the 3-dimensional life, here's the ball, here's our 3-dimensional life. We don't see it, it's miles away.
Yeah.
When we start breathing, we get closer to the outside of that beautiful ball. If you're doing hours breathing, you get to wipe the mist off and have a look in. I did 2 months of daily breath work. And because your body don't get rid of all the oxygen that you're piling in 24 hours, each day that you do the breath, you get further and further and further in, to a point where at sort of week 7, week 8, I would just do the squeeze. Like, I'd close my eyes in my mind, open them up again, and you're in somebody else's house, floating round. No idea whose it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember every space I've appeared in.
I remember you coming to sessions saying,
I wish I were a better artist. I could draw you every single place I've come out in.
Yeah, yeah.
But between an hour's breath work and that, which is the extreme, there are realms, slices of reality going further and further and further towards this place that is the consciousness of everything that's ever lived, the one.
Yeah, yeah.
And each one's got a talisman, each one's got its own symbol. So I would see, I mean, in a combination of like when you use nitrous oxide, it's just forcing your body to release DMT.
Yeah.
When you smoke DMT, when you do breath work, it's very, very similar. Doing the breath work reminded me of my near-death experience.
How did that come about, the near-death experience?
Just being stupid with drugs.
Yeah. Overdoing it.
Yeah. He won't mind me saying, I won't mention his name. The only friend I've got that I would genuinely describe as a genius.
Yeah.
I can't tell you too much about him because we'll identify him. But just an intelligence juggernaut, a designer of things. And of course, he was going through his own journey at the time. I didn't realise. But you'd think that, because he's so intelligent, he turned his attention to drugs.
Yeah.
So I thought, he obviously knows what he's doing, but now he was trying to find the edge, you know.
Yeah.
And we found it. Yeah. People say to me, I just describe this thing, and people say, "Oh, I've done DMT as well." It's just one of the experience I had going through the point of infinity, going through the light at the end of the long dark tunnel, made every DMT trip I've ever had seem like a drag on a joint.
Yeah.
There's just no comparison. The moment I hit that place, I went, I've done it. I've gone too far. The power of that unconditional love, that feeling,
Yeah.
were overwhelming.
Oh,
And I got told a load of things. I think the general consent, the general idea I'd got from it when I look back, it took me weeks to deconstruct it, was, you really want to know, don't you? Okay, well, you're going back. But seeing as you're here, I'll tell you what it is. And it explained to me how this is a training program. It's a construct. We're all here with a preset kind of disposition or disadvantage, and it's designed for us to go through hardship, whatever that is, learn, grow, and gradually ascend to the state where we're reabsorbed back into the one, and a new soul comes out. And it showed me. It said something like it's eternal. And I looked down, and there were souls coming up out of people who just died, and souls dropping into babies. And like, you can't visualise that, but it were in this.
I feel that. As you're saying, if that's something that like resonates with me, I think that's just exactly what it is.
It was just incredible. It said it's not just Earth; it's time. Time.
I think it'll just go on for infinity.
Yeah,
like I describe it as like when you can buy these consoles and they've got 10,000 games on. It's like that, but it's infinite games.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So there's time here. We think it's very long. It's not.
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah. And like I said, when I started to deconstruct it all, it turned out that everything that it told me were in some way connected to Buddhism. You know, the idea of infinite incarnations. So that sent me off on a tangent as well. I got right into Taoism. And I still listen to Tao Te Ching at least twice a week.
I just recently went to that one meditation centre in Leeds. That was good.
Yeah.
The teachings are very much like, you could tell people were in there and they didn't know what they were saying, or like it were just chiming.
Yeah.
I guess you're in the right place at the right time.
Right.
You understand what they're saying, and that's what he was trying to say about the infinite energy of the consciousness of Buddha. And saying when he opened up that meditation centre, the main guy, and I won't get his name, I'm not even going to try to get his name right. He says when he opened it, there were only two people that actually turned up to the meditation centre. It was a man and a woman. They didn't know each other. And they ended up getting married. They ended up having a child, and that child, he said, that was it were his great grandmother. It was his great grandmama.
Right.
So it was like the consciousness had come through.
Wow.
So he's always held it. That's why they built one here in Leeds.
Right.
And I'm like that, but they're all like looking around. I'm like, I get it. It's like it's just
time,
energy. Yeah, it's just energy, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's just hard for the mind to fathom it for some people.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you talk about the near-death experience, because someone just sent me this morning, my cousin, and he'd sent me, and it were talking about, do we ever really die, or have you ever born? Like, everyone has these near-death experiences, but who's saying that ain't a version of themselves that die?
Yeah.
I was like trying to think, and I went, the thing that I always pull it back to is, if you're living in accordance with the 12 universal laws and you're trying to get your karmatic wheel good and clean, these versions of you dying are the ones that are in that bad frame. You're kind of trying, you're working through, so you are going back to source, and I think that's it. Once you've taken it upon yourself at the moment, like you've chosen to play number one character now.
Yeah.
You're not choosing to be playing where you just feeding drugs and alcohol down, like masking everything. You're going, no, I want to be this player character.
Yeah.
And you're stepping forward. So source energy's kind of any near death experience, it's in a waiver because it knows that you're on the path to enlightenment kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
that's my takeaway of it.
I think that's kind of what it was saying. I think is that each life it's to teach you something, and so some of them I think are probably a little bit easier than others. The idea is that, I mean, from what I read, is that the oldest souls get the hardest jobs. I mean, who knows whether that's true or not? I might just be saying that to try and ease my
It's like when I listen to Stoicism, and it's Marcus Aurelius, and you look at that life that he had, and it's like he lost 8 kids, and he'd gone through countless wars, and you're like, how bad did he have it? And he still had a pretty good outlook.
Yeah.
Like that is definitely an ascending master.
Well on his way on his soul's path.
Some people get cut up in traffic.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm one of them.
It's a balancing act, mate.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny to hear people go, I think I'm on my last one now. Good for you, mate. I've got some revolutions to go, me. But and this is the thing, innit? You know, everyone's. You see a lot of people sort of projecting this. Right, I'm done. I've got all the answers, and come on, mate. None of us have got any clue.
It's that state of, I think we talked about it before. It's social media and just people regurgitating what others are saying because it sounds necessary, and we copycat. It's not. It's a design within us, isn't it? We worship what's around us, like as kids become us. And that's where I've started to look at it as your child becomes you. Even if we were to pass now, our character would be played through our children. Yeah, like they continue. So that's where the energy it's imprinted on them. Yeah. So if we start depacking all these bad habits, it stops here, and we create a new world. It's gonna take some time.
Yeah. Well, not many. Yeah. But I mean, even then, mate, you know, it's a very, very slow process, because even if you think, if I project this not perfect, but you know,
perfect.
If I project this perfect sort of outlook and life led onto your kids, they'll be, it don't work like that, mate. No. They've got their own set of impositions on their life, because they've got to learn it. We might be related by blood, mate, but it makes no difference. Yeah. If blood relations had any bearing on anything, your kids would be exactly the same. Yeah. They're not. You get
a mixed bag.
Yeah, there you go. You're in there because that particular set of circumstances are your teachers for your.
Oh yeah, they're definitely my teachers, my kids, 100%.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's saying that to your kids. They're saying that these circumstances that you surround with are what you need for your, you know, for you to go through your life and learn what you need. We've all got individual.
Yeah. No, I get that. There's something. It keeps on ringing true with me, because I think I've always been rebellious to some point against like the system or whatever it be at play. I've always wanted to like go against the grain, and I've found that like a double bind now, because I know that through health and treating my body and putting the right stuff in it, it's great, and I've done so well with it, and to a point of, but then I know what everything, when it all lines up, my body works well and there's no toxins in it. But then it's like I fall off and I go other way with it. And
Yeah.
it's like, am I rebelling against this?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
new system? And I think, is it just, have I got that rebellion in me? It doesn't matter what kind of system is it. Because now that I know that there's a source energy that rules and governs everything, and I'm like, I want to see if I can still do it my way. And
Yeah, I mean, it could be as simple as, you know, nothing but healthy living makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's hard. So, I mean, I'm talking from your point of view, if you don't mind, because I don't live that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I do my best, but I don't break my back about it.
Yeah.
At the moment, Debs has had a bit of a scare with a cholesterol.
Oh dear. Sorry to hear that.
And so she's got to change her diet. But I'm saying to her, look, if you eat something that you want to eat, and we're not talking about extravagant stuff, she's having to eat, she's got a really strict diet. And I said, well, how about one evening a week, you have one meal that you can eat? Oh, I can't do that. Well, yeah, you can, because if you don't, and all you're doing is that grind with the same food every day, you're not going to be able to keep it up.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, if you don't mind me saying, I think that's probably what that is. I think if you have 6.5 days of nose to grindstone, and you have half a day in that week just going, I'll just eat that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
it's finding that balance, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
you allow
finding where
yourself
that where you can have. It's when I go, it's like an avalanche. Like,
well, this is what I'm saying.
It's a complete spill off.
Yeah,
and it's bad. It's like, this is the worst I've eaten in years. Like in the last 2 weeks, but I've felt it. I went for my cupping and reiki. I normally get free treatments from Marisa, and normally she puts the cupping on, and there's been no red marks. And this time they were popping off my back, and she went, I can't. They're not staying on. Yeah. And then at the end, like, they've bruised, but they actually hurt this time.
Right.
And they've never hurt before. And Zoe even noticed them. I'm like, I noticed it in my body through. I've fallen off and not done workout for 2 weeks, and when I've tried going back, I'm aching. Like, so I know my body's going, yeah, you've just tried it your own way, mate, and look what you've done, because now you're at bottom of mountain, and you've got, and you think, I know, I do that all the time where am I battering myself, or is it what I know to be true? And I'm like, my body can't take it.
Well, let's let's look at it from a. Let's line that up against, like, your emotions.
Yeah. So
if you're eating no but the stuff that you know you should.
Yeah.
Then that tension builds, and then you go, fuck it. It's the same way as if you're emotionally stuck and you're not doing, let's say you're not doing some breath work.
Yeah.
Or you're not having a little cry once a week. It's all relieving pressure. And then if you don't, if you get shoved down, then only bad things can happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm a big believer in you've got to just let the pressure off.
I have been releasing and stuff, but I also know, I don't know if I've just been taking myself away from it because I know what's on the other side. I don't know what's on the other side, even though it's going to be beautiful. It's the unknown,
right?
Like, because I even talked about it before. Like, I never got people at gyms like screaming or like. But when I were doing workouts and I was getting somewhere with it, there were anger coming out.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, but I didn't know where, because I've never released, or I thought other people have shied me into myself. Where I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, yeah.
And I realised that it's a good way to vent it.
Absolutely,
and I've got no problem in crying in a meditation if I feel like there's a piece of music or something hit a chord and it has to come out. It comes out. I don't put up a resistance to it. Yeah. It wants to be like, it's like listening to music in my head. Hair stand on end. And not much that I've got. I can feel it more on my arms than I can on my head. But I just feel like there's a resistance of myself going against it wants to believe that I control it in some way, maybe.
Yeah.
That I'm like,
still,
there isn't...
Still just sort of hanging on to it.
Even though that I know that it's a divine play, what's going on, it's like, yeah, if you want to play your own way, mate, you go that way, and you're going to crash and burn, because that's what you've made them decisions.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's on the side of it? Because, like, I think going back to where you're saying, it makes you a dull boy eating that food, my head's saying that as well, but we don't, like, if we can tap into a more unconditional love, there's going to be stuff put in us way that's far more better than me stuffing my face with loads of food. And it's
yeah.
But there's that. There's that fight with yourself.
I mean, I won't call you dull, but it's just the saying, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying, but that's what my mind does as well. It's like, what? But then I can revert back to and go, look at all things that I've had taken away, and look how much life's got better anyway. So you've got to revert back to old, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I've added to my own a little bit. But it's still hard to do, even when we know the right things to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've watched the pod that you did with Sean.
Yeah,
you're talking about not drinking.
Yeah,
and I remember going, oh, fucking not drinking. Go on, and then like I've just gone hard, and then. I sat with it for a few days, and I'm like, "You drink too much." All right, so you have that initial moment of reaction, and oh well, how are you good boys and that, and then 2 days later, it's there. It's there, just tapping your back head. Because I congratulated myself, and do congratulate myself for not being an alcoholic anymore. Because I've got the, I've said that I've got the control that I can just have a couple of glasses of wine when I want.
Yeah. But
then it turns out that I want that quite a lot. So that's one on me. That's my next little project.
You're breaking your pattern. See, that's where it is with me. Like, it'll go, I'll just call into that farm shop, even though it's all good food, but it's eating gluttony. Like, as soon as it gets me in that shop, and I spoke to this with my colleague at work, he'll go, you just call in for a loaf of bread. You don't really need one, but you go there. But as soon as it gets you in there, it's like, just put loads of stuff in basket.
And
it's like knowing. Like, I don't know if I forgot to say to Zoe, just go, can you just do shopping for a month or two? So stay myself away, abstain from it.
It's all just like little dopamine hits, isn't it? And it don't matter how you get them.
Yeah.
We're still susceptible to just going, oh, I'll just get that. I'll just have a little one of them.
Yeah.
But it's all just like ding, 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 and it's just trying to be aware of it, and two, do something about it.
Because what's your take on it? The whispers of them voices that say to go do that or do this.
Don't talk to me about voices, mate. Don't talk to me about voices. It depends what you mean. We've probably got two very different meanings to that. Yeah, I had a quite a massive breakdown in 2007. And what do I think of voices?
Yeah,
I think we've all got them, and I think it's got a lot to do with how you treat them, how strong you are internally as to how you react to them, and I think it's a constant battle, because they are always there, however powerful, malevolent, or niggling they are.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's everything just going, oh, just do that.
Do you think? You just took my mind off there. Like, with certain people that we've had on the podcast, and then also Zoe when she'd had Reiki, and she wasn't into any of this spiritual stuff. It still scares her in bits. But she said she was having a Reiki, and an entity just ran down the leg, went off, and I'm like, and she didn't make a big thing of it. I'm like, how can you not? And you was talking about that. I'm thinking, do we buy the things that we put in as bodies, or the things that we think, or the stuff that we push down in another realm? Are they just these entities that attach to us until we start unpacking them, and then the voices get less as we unpack these entities that are within us?
I think the voices are just one facet of an entirely different realm that exists around us that we've no idea about.
Yeah, so we can't see the light spectrum, can we?
No, let me give you an example. I got to raving late, so I wanted in my early 20s. I used to play. I used to play guitar in rock and blues bands. That were me during that second summer of love. So I missed all that.
Yeah.
We came to it later, and after probably about 3.5, 4 years of just absolute hedonism, my body must have just been on the last fumes of the gas tank. Do you know what I mean? And I started getting. I started having night terrors.
Right.
And by night terrors, I mean you'd wake up in the middle of the night and you'd be fully lucid, conscious, and there'd be something holding me down.
I've had them.
So one main entity and a load of little things that were doing its bidding, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sounds nuts, I know. But
No.
So I had this thing, and I had it 3 or 4 nights in a row, and probably more than that. Let's say a week, and I was terrified to go to sleep. I'd be sat on the edge of bed crying because I didn't want to go to sleep, and at the time, probably a month earlier, I'd met this other musician, this friend of mine, again, I've no names, and he'd come to see my band play, so he turned up. "You all right, Darren?" I said, "No, I'm not all right." He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm having these night terrors, and I'm terrified." He says, "You look awful." I said, "I haven't been sleeping. Don't go to sleep." And as I'm telling him what's happening, this slow, wry smile creeps up on his face, and I'm like, "Mate, it's not funny." And he went, "No." I said, "I'm sorry, mate." He said, "I'm going to stop it for you right now." And I went, "I don't think you can, mate." He said, "No, I can." I said, "I had them 20 years. I said, I'm 20 years. I went through full psychiatric assessment, hospitals." He said, and I met this medium who specialised in this sort of stuff. And I said, "I'll tell you what she told me, and it'll stop immediately." I'm like, "Tell me what it is." He went, "Just laugh at him." And I went, "Oh, thanks."
Feeding off the fear.
All right. And he went, "No, I'm telling you." He says, "Just laugh at him." He says, "The medical profession and the psychologists were talking about medicating me and, this, that and other." He said, "She told me that these are real entities. They're just living on a different vibration to us, and they're here. And they feed off your fear. The more and more," he says, "Let me tell you what's happening to you. You're waking up in the middle of the night. There's something holding you down, and you're terrified." I went, "Yeah." He said, "They feed off your fear. They get stronger. The more scared you get." He says, "So I know that you'll remember this conversation." He says, "and that proves that you're not asleep." He says, "You're awake, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Right." He says, "Go to bed tonight. When you wake up and they're all over you, just laugh at them or invite them in, tell them there's no but love there." He said, "And you watch them clear off and they can't come back." All right. Very, very same night, went to sleep, woke up, these things, and like, usual thing, just raw terror. And then it just came straight into my head. Oh, he said and I just went, "You're welcome to stay, but there's no but love here." And they just went, gone. And about 3 days later, I had another one. And I remember waking up and feeling, and just went, "Oh, no. Do you remember what I said? There's only love here, so you can stay, but you have to accept it." And just gone, and it's never happened again.
That's weird that you say it because it happened 2 days to me, and it's not very often it happens. I had sleep paralysis a lot of years and didn't know what the hell it was. I just remember being very still, and it feels like there's a presence on your back, and it's scary because you can't move. You can't move any of your body. But I always I lay on my front, so I could never turn around and see him, feel it. And it did it the other night, but it's remembering the old feeling where they feel like they're coming up your shoulders.
Yeah.
And just there, and I just went into breath. I just breathed calmly, brought my nervous system down and went to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's just knowing how to tackle it, because when something like that is happening, it's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, so that's one, honestly. Anybody ever has night terrors, it's never not worked.
Yeah.
You just go, all I am is a loving being, so you can lay with me, but you have to accept it. That's never been done with anybody I've ever spoken to and not worked.
Cool.
So what does that say about that? Do you know what I mean? All that darkness, you have to be. It preys on the weak and it preys on the scared, and that's what I was.
Yeah.
For most of my life, and I'd never realised.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. So
did you actually see them as well, or were you just a presence? Because I've never seen any entity. I just feel the presence.
Did I see them with my eyes? No, but I saw. It's difficult to explain. It's not like I saw them, but I know what they look like.
Yeah.
They were like massive rats.
Right.
In my thing.
Yeah.
This massive, bulbous, overgorged, sort of horrible looking rat was about this big, and then all its little minions were just like that, just running all over me.
Yeah.
It just amazed me that I was from abject terror to, oh no, love kills them.
Yeah. Well, that's what George Orwell says, and this is the fear of because it can't be controlled.
Yeah.
It's operating from your heart centre. That's where his power lies, isn't it?
Yeah, and going back to breathing briefly, that's exactly where you go.
Yeah.
By raising your vibration, filling your body with oxygen, descending into the heart space.
And getting out of your mind.
And then you just, the idea is that your higher self is there anyway, with all the knowledge and all the love and knowledge and benevolence and empathy and understanding and forgiveness in the universe, all the power of the one.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is dipping in and reaching in and getting what you need out of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So powerful.
No, that's it, isn't it? What's your main objective of being here then? What do you think?
On the earth?
Yeah, in this time.
Well, I knew from being a kid that it was to help other people. That phrase.
Yeah.
But I never knew what it meant. I thought it would just sort of be nice and polite and, and when somebody wanted help chopping something up, you went and...
Yeah.
But only over this last sort of few years has it been shown to me, it's fundamentally to hold your hands out to people and go, it's all right, you can sort this.
Yeah.
Or, you can feel better. Or, you can achieve a higher perspective on what you've gone through.
Yeah.
And we can heal together. That's it. And that's all it will ever be now for the rest of my life.
That's cool. That is cool. What did you learn when you did Buddhism, or you were learning Taoism? Is it? What's the difference?
Right. Well, Taoism and Taoism is the same thing, depending on which dynasty you're talking about. Yeah. So it's basically the Tao Te Ching and the Tao Te Ching is the same thing.
Right.
Debs is going to. You talk about Buddhist centres. She regularly goes to a Buddhist centre near us now, and she's really enjoying the lead meditations that they do there. I went down with her the other week, and I posed the question. I said, "I'm absolutely embroiled in this Taoism. What's the difference?" And he said, "Well, they're fundamentally the same thing, but pure Buddhism talks a lot more about helping other people, whereas Taoism centres on the self." So I was kind of all right with that. I know how to love other people and help other people, so I don't think I'm missing out too much on that. But there's a lot of you talked about Stoicism, and there's a lot of parallels drawn between. I've drawn a lot of parallels between Stoicism and the Tao, because it just talks of it talks about doing everything by doing nothing. It talks about daily diminishing, losing skills, losing possessions, and it helps me out a lot, actually, because I told you I had my van stolen about.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, my van stolen about 4 months ago. I had a camper in back.
Oh, yeah.
Just it was perfect.
Yeah, made exactly how you wanted.
New gearbox, new suspension, new brakes, new clutch. Spent a lot of money on it. Inside it, camper aspect of it were really nice, and it got stored, and I just packed it with all the stuff, and I was just over eager because we were driving to France for 3 weeks, so 4 days, like a week before we went, I packed it, like, make sure I've got everything in there, and then it just got stolen outside front of the house, and I was just gutted, don't cover it, mate. I loved that van. It was the only thing I owned, apart from a few instruments and a laptop, and all the other stuff that I owned were in there, and it all went. And I was gutted, and about a week later, I just sort of had this, when you're sort of just drifting off to sleep, and I just sort of, it were almost like I just go, well, you follow the Tao, mate, really. It's the only sort of religious writings I do follow.
Yeah.
And it says, daily diminish. And so, how is it better? How better than to have everything you've got stolen? And so you just like go, yeah, all right. If we're going to follow this path, then
there's no else to do. And I think we're magnets, aren't we? If we start reacting and go, this is fucking shit, it starts to then change that feedback loop. If you like, I'm really gutted about that.
You just
I think Sam said it when he came on. He says, like, even if your car breaks down, just say, all right, well, I'm here for a reason. What's this reason? Yeah. And you don't know how it's an unfold, but the more that you go, oh, this is worst day ever, and it's like, all right, sound, we're going to keep on giving you more of that.
Yeah, you just have to let go of stuff, mate. You just have to let go. Yeah, I have a nice little saying that I say. I have to say it to myself a lot. You can't stop the waves, mate. So get yourself a surfboard. Do you know what I mean? You're not stopping out.
No.
You know, and reacting. I mean, it's all right. Obviously, it's all right to react negatively to stuff.
Yeah.
But then you have to sort of go, right, why? Do you know what I mean? And the way I've sort of filed that is, you don't need all that stuff. I mean, I love my camper. I love the feeling of freedom that you can... Freedom.
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
Loosely used.
Yeah, overrated. I love that feeling of, you know, I'd come home from work on a Friday night and I'd say to Debs, where do you want to go?
Yeah.
It's go, right, get it, man. And you're off, and you don't have to worry about money for booking hotels or
all the entanglement to it.
Yeah, and you can just go anywhere. But now it means that I can't. There's a particular gang of criminals that go around areas like that, and I ain't got a lot of money.
Yeah,
we just through Deb's manifestations, we're still renting, but we've just got this beautiful weaver's cottage.
Yeah.
In a valley. It's beautiful with red deer on backfield. But like, obviously, people are coming through there going, these lot of Lord they'll have some nice stuff we can nick. So they're going around stealing vans, caravans, campers, and they go around every couple of years. Do you know what I mean? So I can't have another van, and I've driven vans for 25 years.
That'd be good.
Yeah. So I'm still, you know,
trying to.
It's all right going, yeah, I've sorted that. No, you know, it bothers you, but you have to go, right, well, what is it?
Yeah, what's it trying to teach me?
Yeah. Debs will say to me, you know, like, especially in cars and that, something happens. She'll go, you don't know that they want an accident waiting for you in a quarter of an hour. So this is why you're getting slowed down. Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. It's like, even you don't know, like that driver that's going 20 mile an hour in front of you. You don't know if they've got the 2-year-old's birthday cake on the back seat. They don't want to smell.
I heard you saying that on thing. Absolutely.
There's loads of different ways you can look at it, or angels just stopping you from that crash, or it could be a number of things. We don't have to understand it. It's how it's. I find it's another way of reframing your mind to think of other possibilities rather than his own way.
Yeah.
Of like, why they're not doing what I want them to do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's
getting out your own way.
Going back to the ego, innit?
Yeah.
It's me. Why have you done this to me? And it's like, well, who are you, and how significant are you in a grand scheme of things? And why should everyone get out of your... Why should your needs be greater than anyone else's?
I think it's like he just twanged a chord, like when we went down to Stonehenge, and I went, I want to go down to Glastonbury, and it were a fucking pain in the arse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was like, in the grand scheme of things, I put about 3 hours on to travel, didn't really, just because I wanted to go to Glastonbury. I should have just gone, not forced it another time.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. And this were another one. We talk about ego. Before I called any of you, when you left me, I sat and cried in my van. And
I'm sorry, mate.
No, and I'm like, you've done that to me.
Why
have you done that to me? And why have you two not said no? Why aren't you fought my corner? And then, as it sat, I realised that happened because I've got massive childhood issues with not being allowed in groups.
Right.
You know, like
So
everything's for a reason, and it all needs uncovering. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how it comes.
The first thing you do is you look around for somebody to point at and go, it's you.
Yeah.
And it won't. It were.
It's a loaded gun, isn't it? It's the trigger.
Yeah. Because you go, well, I wouldn't ever have done that. But why wouldn't you ever have done that? because you're the one that as a child were left on the outside.
Yeah.
So that's and so once you can step back and look at it, you go, oh yeah, that's just another bit of damage.
Yeah.
That needs integrating. I hate that word, but it's the best word.
It is right. It's been overused, hasn't it? Recently?
Yeah. There's a whole syntax being built up around this healing community, and it's just like, I'm using them words again. But no, it were one of them where I just go, no, Darren, it's you, you, and the stuff that you've been through, and that's why that hurt. Not because of that.
It's scenarios, isn't it? It bobs them up,
and and like each one is just another scene in your film.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, what does that mean? You spend all this time watching complicated subtitled films, going, what did they mean by that scene there? But
it's what it means to you at that point.
Yeah, and so that's really what I've been doing with all the old memories. You just go, right, what does that mean? What do I need to learn from that? And I'm working through it. I'm by no means finished. By no means.
No.
But the idea that you're, as the healer, which by the way just means that you're facilitating somebody else's self-healing.
Yeah.
There's no special about people who put themselves in a position of, come to me.
Yeah.
I'll help you. What it means is, come to me and I'll help you help yourself.
Yeah. You're essentially just giving them the power back.
Yeah.
They forgot that they had the keys to.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot what I was saying before, but that was really important.
No.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I've lost.
No, it comes out as it's supposed to come out, doesn't it?
I've lost my thread. See, that's me just getting to. Anyway, I've got all this to say, and then go.
It's cool, man. It's cool. But no, there's a lot of lessons. I think that's where I'm at. Not wanting to do any plant medicine recently is because I've got that. So like you're saying, you've got so much to unpack and so much to look through the eyes of living in this world without my consciousness being altered anymore. I need to be able to, that word again, integrate into what I am actually living day-to-day life. No one is walking around taking plant medicine 7 days a week. It's just, you only get sections at some point.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So don't try and find the edge, because your sanity's there and the edge is, or it's in death.
Yeah.
Which nobody wants.
And
No. But actually, having seen it, I certainly won't. I certainly won't be clinging on my last days, going, no, I want to stay here. Sorry, and I just remembered what I was saying. The idea that the person that you go into for help, is this polished, finished item is ludicrous. The reason that, personally, I believe that almost everybody who's here trying to help people help themselves is there because they've realised that people can be helped because they're doing it themselves.
Yeah.
So everyone's,
you're always the teacher and the student, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's why I think it's so important, and we've all been put in our own little places, is to learn as craft in certain areas, because it'll all merge together, and we have them. We can only teach from experience.
Yeah,
we can't. I can't tell you about how to play a guitar because I haven't done it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's where it's all relevant of you being able to use your experiences, sharing with others, and once you start sharing them, like, it'll unlock parts of you when they start sharing their experiences. It'll be like, oh, I didn't even know that were interested in what is just like the breath work. Or it'll start to unfold it. That's the tapestry of it all.
It's a sort of incomprehensible, multi-dimensional web that we're all in, and I think we're all all our experiences are linked in a way that we've no way of understanding in this three-dimensional space.
I've been having dreams over the last couple of nights of it, and it's just like I wouldn't even try to unpack it.
Yeah.
It was just showing like these webs of just going in, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, I mean, in that amazing as well that, let's say, and I don't recommend this, folks, but you know, if you were deep in a NOS trip, not necessarily smoking DMT, because I think it's a different thing, but let's say an endogenous DMT experience, sometimes in those spaces, you're in enough to understand everything, and then you're on your way out of it and you go, it's gone.
Yeah.
But in that moment, you can feel everything.
Did you feel, when you did the plant medicine, I know I did for me, when I've activated some things inside myself and I've seen the possibilities of what can be and what can come, there were an overbearing weight of responsibility of things to come. Like, it was showing me, because nothing's an absolute truth that it's going to happen, but it was kind of showing me one path futures and one there, and it's like the choices that you make up in between now and then is going to show you which path that you're going on ultimately.
Yeah, interesting.
And because I remember having this overbursting joy, and I was in tears on the floor, like this is amazing. But then it showed me like this pentagram and a load of other stuff, and it was like wow, and it was like an overburden. And you was like, oh my God. But then it takes you back to showing you are the creator of your life. So empowering as it is, you get to make the choice of which path you're going to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting you should say that about the future. I mean, there are no set futures from any one point.
Yeah.
But, you know, I know more than one person who has dreams, premonitions.
Yeah.
And some happen, some don't. But they're very real when they're seen. And the ones that do happen are as powerful and as real as the ones that don't happen. So it's interesting you should say that about, you know, it's like a tree.
Yeah.
And it branches off and branches off and branches off, but we're only going down one particular one. So, but yeah, I've had that. There's I mean, from all angles, it seems that this battle between good and evil, and it just sounds daft, doesn't it? But that, I mean, I was told by a woman I was teaching college years back, and she was one of the lecturers. And she worked for, or she was part of a thing called Ethereal Society.
Oh, cool.
And she said, "Can I borrow you at lunchtime, please, Darren?" I said, "Yeah, me and another girl." I said, "Yeah, no worries." So she said, we were in Leicester. She said, we need to walk down to Cathedral. I said, "Okay." About 24 or something. I said, "Yeah, right." Walk down. She's walking around this cathedral with a massive Dragon Ball singing. Yeah. This is a bit bonkers. She says, "Just stand at the gates to the graveyard there." And she got this other lass. She says, "You stand over there." I said, "What do you want us to do?" She went, "Just be you, love." I was like, "All right." Says, "If anyone comes, just smile." I said, "Okay." And she's walking around this cathedral, and I swear to you, mate, this like homeless guy come round corner like Nosferatu in one of old Boris Karloff things. Come round corner like that, and he come round corner, sees her, he's making a beeline to her, and then like he looked round at me, and she said, "Oh, she just said smile." So, "Hey mate," and he he like shat himself and run away.
That's weird.
And
is this while she were playing it?
Yeah. And like, all right, that could just be a bit of nonsense. So, but she came back when she'd finished, and she said, "Did you see anyone?" I said, "Yeah, it is as it happens." And I told her, and she went, "Yeah, good. That's why I brought you." And I'm like, "Okay." And we were walking back, and I went, "Look, you're gonna have to forgive me. What the fuck's going on?" And she went, "Oh, she says, there's Darren, there's a battle between good and evil going on." She said, "It's been raging for thousands of years." She says, and first time I'd heard anybody refer to anyone as light workers. She says, and the light workers are fighting on the side of good.
Yeah.
She says, and I've chosen you two because you're lights. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? She went, just keep on being you, Darren. So I'm like, and that would, and so I'd heard that in my early 20s. And
that's cool.
And you hear it, people who were in the sort of field, it's always referred back to
sons of light.
Yeah.
Against sons of darkness.
Yeah. And so, what do you do? Well, there is an awakening going on. I don't care what anybody says. And love will not be defeated. That's something that a message that I've been given fundamentally through psychedelic use and particularly through breath work, that it'll be a struggle, and those forces of darkness are getting desperate now because it's starting to come to a head. Yeah. But look, you can't beat you can't beat love. It's too powerful.
Did you read the Dead Sea Scrolls of what they were saying that were found in Qumran? The teachings that are seen, they said this days it'll come. There'll be 13 battles, 6 the sons of darkness will win, and 7. So it's going to go right to wire.
So we're in the last battle. Yeah.
So it'd be like I don't know what battles. I'll have to do some more homework on it, but they're going to win 6 battles. So even when it looks like it's losing, it's like have faith that it's going to come through. And I think
they said that 7's won by 6 is won by Sons of Darkness. 6 has been won by Sons of...
And then 7 win. It'll go down to like they'll have 6 apiece. It's like best game at Century.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in extra time,
but everyone's watching
penalties.
Fucking football.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what, mate? I hadn't had the knowledge. Not that I've got a lot now, but I hadn't had the knowledge of it back then. Even when I was in my late teens and my early 20s, but I'd still be trying to talk to people about stuff. About things on the periphery.
Yeah.
And 30 years ago, people just go, "You're mad."
Yeah, well, you'd end up in iroids.
Yeah, or you just see visor come down, and you're like, okay, next one.
Yeah.
But now, almost anybody that you speak to will at least go, I hear there's something going on, or
you can feel it,
or something's not right. So it's a starting point then for you to try and
I think, and I really started to come with compassion to people that don't want to, because like yourself and myself, when you've started to see even the programs in your inner world that you don't like, and you start to see the outer, and it's like it's going to get messy. It's going to get far messy, and they're like their ego's going, nah, we're not doing this work, and I can understand it because it is you're in trenches with it.
Well, I mean, and I were one of them, and not long ago. So, how it's possible.
Yeah.
I had no idea I had no idea what that was. But I'll tell you what, it wasn't me. And it wasn't me let's take the first 8 years off.
Yeah.
For 32 years. And I understand people will say, how do you do that and not know? You tell me. I don't know. But it took all that time for it to and turn into psychedelics for it to be revealed to me.
Yeah.
And better late than never is the cry.
The more that you're doing the work, or I'm doing the work, or whoever it may be, the more that you're doing it, you're inspiring the people around you. Like, we went out the other week they all went for drinks, and I hadn't really wanted to be around it, because I thought, I'm this, and it'll fucking take an ollie, and I were in that space for a long time. We went out and we had a great night, and they're like, you just seem a lot lighter, like what I'm like, because I know me. Yeah. I know what I like. Yes, I'm not going to be out drinking. I'm not going to be coming every week with you, but it was nice to mix it up. And
who that is irrelevant to anybody else.
Yeah.
You know thyself, and just be who you are, and let other people be who they are. And like I said, by that conversation you had with Sean, talking about not drinking, you aren't telling me, you aren't lecturing me.
No.
But 2 or 3 days after watching that,
it digests.
It's going, you should at least not drink as much as you do.
Yeah.
Not that I'm,
No.
Well, no, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. I should be, it's in there.
Yeah.
And it's turning now. And I know myself.
Yeah.
So I know now that's going to turn into some action before long, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and it's going to take time as well.
But yeah, I'm not going to... See, I don't... One thing I've learned is to not force anything anymore. Examine everything, but don't force anything.
That's where I've been. And when I spoke to Charlie, who did the cleanse with, the cleanse went brilliantly, but I just felt like I was getting weak as I was going on. So when I was doing my workouts and stuff, I didn't have the energy. So at the end, I was like, oh, fuck it, it's all gone to shit anyway, so I'm just going to eat shit. So he said, Hippocrates said it great. He says, everyone can fast. It takes wisdom to break the fast.
Right.
Like, because I pulled pendulum so far this way, it's gone just as far the other way. Like, I've done great in that respect, but I've equal measure, I've brought myself back.
Yeah.
You've got to learn, and it's a learning process, isn't it? Don't like slow. I think someone said as well, just slow and steady, slow and smoothly will win the race.
Yeah. How are you getting on with that? Last time I spoke to you, you were on about doing a long one.
I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna get up to 40.
Is that dry?
I'm speaking to someone I was supposed to speak to him on Friday, but I'm having migraines. He's just done a 43-day fast. It's second time. It's called Agape. Is it from? I think he's from down London. Excuse me if he's British, but he's living out in Mexico, and he did it over 3 different places.
Right.
It's a really interesting story.
And is that a dry one, or is it?
I think he did water. I think.
Because
you can do dry. People are saying you can't, but if you go back to what the Essenes,
that's what
the Essenes
we
are talking about is
time.
Because they're saying hydrogen. The cells, once they break down, they create their own water. So your body's going through a self-purging.
Right.
But it's going to take a lot of praying. It's going to take a lot of you're putting your energy. I was speaking to someone the other day, Sam, who were first on, because he wants to do it. I feel like I've done it in a previous life. I don't think I can do it in a cold climate. I think I'm going to have to do where the sun gazing can be added.
You need a lot of it.
I go very cold. Like when I do the fasting, how cold I go is incredibly. I don't think I'd be able to survive in a cold climate.
Right.
But I think this is why I wanted to speak to Agape about it, is I wanted to know what led him to that very moment, because John St. Julian, who I follow, he has a place out in Tanzania. He did it as well. He got led. Now he has the biggest disabled children's hospital, daycare home in Tanzania, led truly by spirit after this 40-day fast.
Right.
So I was just intrigued of, it's not the ego, it's not me going, oh, I'm going to do it on this day. You will be led by spirit. You've talked about the demonic voices. We also have the angelic voices of what come through, and it'll come when it comes. It won't be on my watch. It'll be on that watch of, am I in alignment, and is it a calling?
Yeah.
Because I spoke to Dan about it when we were on about. He went, "Oh, we can do it together." And I said, "We'll kill each other." I says, "You're supposed to do it on your own because, like, when you start purging these entities out, if you both of you are at each other, you're gonna all these entities are gonna spew up onto you, and yours are gonna spew onto me."
I mean, I think there's probably a lot to be said for doing it at the same time, whether you're around each other at the same time. I was talking to a friend of mine, Darren, last night. She's a really switched on lady. We were talking about fasting. She said she did 70 days.
Wow.
Water just
only.
with water.
Oh yeah.
Out of grief.
Wow.
But she only eats once a day now, and has done for time. So it's interesting. I saw another thing about somebody saying that they'd been diagnosed with cancer and just didn't eat for a month.
I've got a book up there. Doctor said it like because when I were watching John the other day, he says like we don't have to go and get knowledge once you tapped into source. The Holy Spirit will put stuff in front of you, whether it be in social media. I got like hit with everything at once. The alkaline diet is one thing that I'll want to get into. In Britain, we don't have a lot of alkaline foods.
No,
and it's very hard to eat.
You know what we have got though?
What's that?
Breath work.
Yeah.
By piling oxygen into your cells, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Turning yourself into an alkaline state.
That's well interesting to know.
So I think, should, God forbid, that any of us get cancer, I think it's long fast breath work.
Yeah.
And I think that should sort it.
It is. It's abstaining from food as well. And I think the next one I'm going to do is Dr. Sebi, he got hold of. They were going to sue him with New York Times because he said he can heal anyone. And he pulled them all in. He says, "All right, give me 21 people or 20 odd people that have had. I want all ailments. I want all cancers. I want them riddled." He gave them all, and he put them on a 21-day fast with coconut water only, and every single one of them water's back in fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and they're like, they can't sue him. He ended up getting off, but his teachings are still there.
Right.
It is a living. I think they said the biggest killer of all, the biggest killer in humans and all animals. It's parasites. They become the host, and that's where they said there's a big correlation between what we deem as demons and parasites. It's just the living within our body, and we've gone away from natural law.
Yeah.
If we live in a more alkaline diet, they can't even survive. And I think that's where maybe when I've been doing the cleanses, if I just eat within what I'm supposed to be ealing, like keep it alkaline, they can't survive in your body anyway.
Yeah.
They're not thriving.
Yeah.
So I'm just trial and error with it all, and it's more you don't know until you've fucked about anyway. So
exactly,
and you've got to feel into stuff.
Yeah.
Because
did you see that latest thing with Wim Hof? They'd said that they'd sent 2 kids to him with brain tumours.
Wow.
And he'd done a 10-day course of connected breath and cold water, and they sent them both back, and one of them were in complete remission. And then the other one had to do an extra 3 weeks of this of this breath and cold water, and they went in remission as well.
I can imagine it though. It's just we don't actually know the power of it, do we?
No, but the whole medical profession's been usurped, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Over 100 years. And it feels like all this knowledge is being rediscovered. It's almost like...
Yeah, it's rediscovered. I don't think it's found for the first time. It's
exactly, yeah. And so you can just see how, all right, we're just another market to be sold stuff to, they don't want to cure out, they want to treat it.
It's
There's
even
more
like
money in it.
It's even like we were watching a video and they were saying it's funny. She says like we're rediscovering all this ancient knowledge, but but there's no plastics or else to be found when we're digging underground. It says that because they were living in complete accordance with what the world should be.
Yeah.
Everything should be sustainable and it should go back into the earth and rejuvenate. It's just as much as our bodies will.
Yeah.
That's living in accordance to the world.
Yeah.
It's
funny when we're going to save the planet, I just laugh. You go, what are you talking about? Going full circle back to mushrooms. They found fungi that's eating plastic, and they found fungi in Chernobyl. That's eating radiation. So do you know what? The Earth's going to be fine.
It's
yeah. I mean, what are they actually saying?
It's just caused division. I think.
Of course it is. It's fear mongering, mate. Because we're going to save ourselves. Well, if they were truly concerned about saving ourselves, they'd be not selling us shit to eat.
Not trying to say, let's go.
Not polluting the skies. Sorry, everyone, it's fact. You know, not piling crap into sea, cloud seeding, dropping shit on us from above.
It's the biggest fanboy I don't like is Elon Musk. He's saying he's going to save us and he's going to blast us out to safe into space. I just don't believe you can go anywhere, but save what we're here for. Like this is
he's ushering in the Christ, mate.
He is. He is.
And like
it's transhumanism, and that's what the big.
I don't think he's fully human anyway, mate. We could go down some rabbit holes, but I don't. I think he's an hybrid anyway.
Yeah. Well, I just think that he is Antichrist. They don't want us here, and they want us to be. It's another way of control. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna get the things I've seen. If we all can step into alignment and keep on doing work we're doing, I think, like you said, the mycelium eats up the plastic. The world will eat up the fucking shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's a part of the shit. Yeah. And it'll come.
Can't beat love, mate. That's the bottom line. It's the answer to everything, and it can't be destroyed. So, what are you going to do with that, Elon?
We don't have to do it. Eat that
up. Yeah.
What's best advice you've ever been given?
I can't answer questions like this, mate.
You know.
With maximum respect. I've got no short-term memory.
No.
It's one of them that if you'd have given me a list beforehand, I could probably thought of something really profound. But I would say probably, and it's not given me directly. It's all in the Tao Te Ching. Yeah. Any of the beautiful fundamental teachings of Tao Te Ching, just listen to it, and this is why I listen to it a couple of times a week, because I'll just have it on at work. I'll be working, and one verse or one line will come out, and I'll go, oh, "Thank you, I needed that today."
Where do you listen to that then?
It's there's a he's a I think you're a motivational speaker, Wayne Dyer.
All right. You have to send me some links.
Reads a version of it, and because it's Chinese, there's loads of different interpretations of it. None of them veer too far away, but that particular one, really.
I'm definitely drawn to it.
It's amazing, mate.
I just like it's so simplistic.
Yeah.
It does really boil it down to what it is. It's not trying to tangle it up and dress it up any.
Yeah, there's just some really beautiful things in it. It says something like, "What's a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's charge?" It's just like absolute, just real simple, straight to the point things. A kind man is kind to the kind man. The kind man is also kind to the unkind man because the nature of his being is kind. It's just absolutely beautiful, fundamental teaching, really simple. And there's some sort of paradoxical verses which just don't make any
sense.
Any sort of linear sense, but they'll just come up when we're doing something and you're like, oh, well, thank you, you know.
I like what the Buddha says as well. It's like all suffering is tied to desire. I don't like
all
it.
suffering is tied to desire. Yeah.
And I've looked how much that is true. If we desire an outcome, we desire like if we hadn't tied anything to it, we're just accepting what's coming as well. And I'm like, it's something. I keep on learning stuff, and then you unlearn it, and you come back to it again. You're like, I'm doing it again.
Yeah. Oh, and interestingly enough, everything that I was taught in that near-death for Buddhism, and I don't know whether this is the next thing I'm going to say is tied to that, or whether it's just
all interconnected, brother.
I mean, directly connected to it, or whether. Anyway, when I did my 2 months initiation with the breath, I would, as it got stronger and stronger and stronger, I would get these universal symbols. I'll get these talismans burnt into my psyche like godheads, HD, beyond HD.
Yeah.
And most of them were Buddhist or Hindu.
Yeah.
The hand of Hamza, just a silhouette of the sitting Buddha. The original swastika. All the Buddhist eye.
Yeah.
All sorts of these things would just be burnt into my psyche, and then I'd make notes on them. I've got stolen in van. I had my book with. That's enough.
I'll just say you get trigger. Oh, fucks.
Yeah, I had my book with all my notes from my insights and stuff.
But
I remember
you said burnt in the brain.
yeah. But almost all of those pertain to these ancient symbols were Buddhist or Hindu.
Yeah, and do you think they're just well, I'd take the note from it, they're just signposts of things, trails to go down and learn. Where can we find your breathworks, and where are you doing them at the moment? I mean, we will tag your page.
Well, I've got a fortnightly session in Horsforth.
Yeah.
I run, at the moment, weekly session in Greetland in Halifax.
Yeah.
And I've got a monthly one in Shipley. Just looking to put a monthly one on in Ilkley or around that area.
Yeah.
And then that's about as much spare time as I've got of evenings. We'll look at getting some daytime things in after them.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, it would be I can see you expanding very far and wide now. It'd be cool.
Just looking to get in front of as many people as possible. And it doesn't matter who you are; it helps everyone.
Yeah.
So as many people as we can get in front of, the better.
But it's that ripple effect, isn't it? Just you make one person better, and they'll ultimately make the people around them better as well.
Absolutely, this is how it works, isn't it?
Yeah. So no, thank you very much for your time.
Oh mate, thanks. I've really enjoyed it.
Cool.
Good to see you, mate.